Hannah.
I'm Ben.
AutoSave, welcome to our
To
channel.
watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, episode 42. Ed and Al are both down. We both have two chimeras at our side. I trust Zampano and Jerso a little bit more, but who am I to judge? Because these other two chimeras are carrying Ed on their backs to try to find him a doctor.
Which is pretty awesome, and one of them did sneak the Philosopher's Stone that had fallen down into, like, their pocket. So, like, I wonder when that would come into play, how that would come into play.
It's a good question. I don't know if a doctor would be able to help Al, but hopefully things are looking better on that side of things.
For Ed, yeah.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I expect that we're going to be seeing Azbek, because that's where we were possibly traveling to.
Yeah, if we can carry Al. I mean...
just get inside of him!
Yeah.
This song is growing on me.
I love it.
really, really loved the last OPA song so much that I was even singing it when we weren't even watching the show.
Yeah.
But this is growing on me.
I think objectively, as like just a song, it's great. It's phenomenal.
If they play this song in the actual show, at like the end, I think I'll cry.
Azbek? Oh, wow. Piece by piece, huh?
Did we carry him here piece by piece?
Take care of yourself, Yoki.
Can't have you getting sick. You're so useful.
Ed would be really good at deciphering this. Oh.
金とか不老不死を意味する語句がたくさん出てくることに着目して調べ方を変えてみようかと。それで何かわかりそう？さっぱりです。ここ？あれ様、よかった。あのまま意識が戻らなかったらどうしようかと。ごめん、心配かけちゃったね。ところで僕、なんでバラバラなの？担いで移動しようにも貴様が多すぎるからな。
Always thinking about other people.
We were worried about you. Instead of a code, a puzzle?
Are the pages out of order? Oh, Mei Chang. Scar's brother was a genius.
Dude!
Wow.
That's so cool! We didn't put Al together.
Whoa.
この危機的状況を逆転する手立てを人の研究に求めた私が甘かった。
Scar knows there has to be more to it.
Knowing you.
The arm. Ooh.
Is there a different way you can mix it up? Flip it over! Flip it over!
Oh,
Incorporates
shit.
alchemy.
Signs of a counteroffensive. Let's go!
Running away, licking his wounds.
I think we should go in there.
X marks the spot.
Oh. Hmm.
グレンの錬金術師ですね。はじめまして。私はブライト。まあ追跡中です。後にしなさい。先にブリックズに血の門を刻むのです。簡単に行きそうもありませんよ。その強さを利用する。
Make use of their strength.
わかりました。血の門を刻んでご覧に入れましょう。ブリックズの砦に。
No.
No.
Selim is the worst child I've ever met.
You're gonna see him again soon.
いや、キンブリーの部下2名と鋼の錬金術師だ。そうか、鋼の大将が。エンドルトンの国境線はひでえもんだったよ。わざと戦死者を出してるとしか思えない戦い方をしてた。お前の言った通り、軍が錬成陣を作るために率先して流血沙汰を起こしてるようだ。セット南部でアイルゴ軍とドンパチやってるそうだ。
Jesus.
Mm.
そうですか。俺たち元マスタング組はそれでなくても憎まれっ子だからな。大佐には連絡つけてるのか。ええ。アームストロング家ゆかりのメッセージ。
Yeah.
逐一。国を地獄に変えようってやつの手下が着々とその準備を進めてるってのに何一つ手出しできないんですから。
Panning down to Sloth. Wow. Reach the other end. Now you can sleep.
Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist.
I love the green lighting on him.
What? This is crazy.
すみません。私にもください。
ご存知でしょう。ここであった暴動のこと。そのせいでここは。
Did he come here on purpose?
こんなに美味しい食事があるのに。
I love the transmutation marks on the bar.
自分にはこれくらいのことしかできないから。
そんなことないよ。温かい食事とお嬢さんの笑顔がみんなの力になってる。世話になったついでと言っちゃなんだが、教会を探しているんだが。
教会？
そう、暴動の原因になったっていうレト教の本部。
Is there any way of undoing? Why else would he be visiting the sites?
今さら入っても何もないよ。
地下に降りる通路はあるかな？
ええ、あるにはありますけど。
Wow, they're accompanying us.
の水です。いつの間にかこうなっていたんです。
普通の人間はこの先に進めないようになっているのか。どれ？
待って！入ったら死んじまう！
Wow. Is this where you thought we'd be going in this episode?
Nope.
Oh, we're in the tunnel?
Pride would be able to sense us though, right?
Beat Selim's ass. Oh! Come on, Hohenheim. Oh, it is the shadow. Oh,
Like a fixed line,
interesting.
okay. Just like the flask.
Wow.
It's not necessarily the light.
What a shot. The arrogant. The first one he cut loose from himself.
The first homunculus.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
He knows about the chair. I love that he used number 23. Breaking the bridge. Made a declaration of war. I'm scared.
Me too. Oh my god. Wait. He's using like... Wait, it's Drachma? In the middle of this weather. Yep, tip them off.
Fighting on both ends. Ugh. Zampano. Please be like a double agent or something. Damn it!
I am betrayed.
Okay, that was Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood episode 42, Zampano.
I'm really, like, shocked right now.
Is there any likelihood that it's a double agent thing? Like, we're wanting to bring one of the sins to us so that we can spread their numbers thin, or we have a trap now that, we're making some progress with the circle, with the alchemy circle, with Mei Chang. I'm coping a little bit.
I think, like, the coping makes sense because of the fact that if Zampano and Jerso both had the same kind of goal in mind of looking at this research as something and these people as people that could be helpful to them in their situations, why would the call happen now? Why would the call happen after we've flipped the research? And obviously we're going to go over like what we learn from it, the mixing with alkahestry. Why, after realizing that this research, there are secrets to it and we're figuring it out, why would you then call, other than us possibly coping and hoping that it's a setup? I can't imagine a setup maybe happening. It's hard for me to imagine a setup happening when Ed and Al aren't together, like luring in a sin. You know what I mean? Like,
I get you. And it's also like, yeah, we have a new Maastrichtian countrywide transmutation circle, but would we be able to utilize that in a way that would be able to go up against one of the sins?
You know who I'd want to give this information? Hohenheim.
Yeah.
Because he can use alkahestry.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Scar here, which is a bit reassuring on my end, at least. So, like, I still have that in my back pocket in case things do go south.
Yeah. I just still feel incredibly betrayed by the after credit there. I
have hope. Even if I'm coping, I have hope.
Maybe it's wrong of me to feel so
betrayed.
The lack of hope I feel right now, so actually betrayed. Like, well, a good thing does come from this. I love Envy.
Yeah.
I love when Envy's on the screen.
So would you assume that Envy would be the one coming to get us?
He would desire to be.
Yeah.
He's the one that let Marco go,
Like, my hope for Zampano comes from him and Jerso's idea about their family, right? We're getting reassurance from Envy that Zampano's life would be saved, but we know that there's something more than that that he cherishes. So that's where my hope comes from.
It makes me want to go back to when both of them were speaking on their families to almost see if Jerso was the one maybe much more caring about his family and their well-being, and if Zampano was more so just going along with it. To save his own life. Like, it's almost like I want to go back and see if there was a sign there.
I think we should go back and look then.
Yeah.
Misters, don't you have families or loved ones? Sure we do. Once we get these bodies, they were told that we were dead. It's both of them. Mm-hmm. That's how it comes off.
Yeah, it really, I mean, when we initially watched the episode that we were just looking at, it did come off like both of them were on the same page. And so to have one of them kind of breaking from the other seemingly, I'm like, well, was one of them really playing me this entire time? I'm glad we went back to see that it did.
Does it do anything to quell your feelings of betrayal, or are you just gonna wait it out, see what happens, and then
It doesn't really quell it because I can understand the mindset of someone who is viewing kind of this big bad who's basically in charge of your entire country, the fear you might have and the lack of trust or faith in the individuals you're traveling with. Yeah, they might have really great goals that could help you out, but I could see still being so scared of who's ruling the country and the power they hold, because you've seen it firsthand, the power they hold.
Okay, I think that's very reasonable. However, if like, let's say before we flipped the pages and we were kind of at like a brick wall and didn't really know what to do at that point, then I could understand it a little bit more. But we have hope now, And it seemed like both Jerso and Zampano were both in the room while it happened, and we found this out. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I think that without Yoki, this world is doomed. Without Yoki having a cold, this world is doomed. He is the sole reason that we were able to put the final pieces together.
Yeah.
Him and Al, of course.
Yeah, thank goodness for him having possibly the weakest immune system out of this group. And, it makes sense that you would get the sniffles after traveling in the cold, like this, especially if you're not used to it. And it's thanks to him. Really, it's not thanks to Mei Chang or Al at all. They deserve none of the credit. Yoki deserves all of the credit.
Well, we haven't put Al back together yet. It makes a lot of sense in terms of trying to transport him. I know we were talking about, like, oh yeah, somebody getting inside the suit. But realistically, this makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I feel like walking in a suit of armor in, like, feet of snow doesn't sound like a super easy thing to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would have had to, if anyone, it would have had to be like Scar or something.
Where do you think we go from here? Like, in terms of, like, I would have said before the ending of this episode and the after credit that maybe we get a little bit more Scar and Mei Chang and all of us trying to figure out how we can incorporate this new circle into a grander plan. But now it seems like it might be a little bit more fighting first on immediate level because of
in
envy.
terms of like content that we will see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have some fights kind of raring to go right now. Obviously, what we get with what's going to happen at Briggs, which I guess we can just talk about. We can just lay it out. There is declarations of war across the board in this episode that we're going to be seeing. We have multiple examples. I guess the examples are Hohenheim, which we can talk about, and then Briggs, which we will talk about, and then the third one being what Zampano just did, which is telling Envy where Dr. Marco is.
Yeah.
So we have 3 declarations of war about to happen. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Hohenheim. It was so fucking cool. I love I love the chase sequence. I love him. I love his entrance even. It was very Hohenheim-esque. Him crawling into a city, begging for food. Rose seemed amazing, and she was so kind. They walked him down to the church, down into the tunnel, and then just waited for him. And I would wait for Hohenheim too. I loved him transmuting the bridge across with his hand in his pocket. It was so fucking badass.
I would have waited for anyone if they were like, yeah, this is toxic water. Okay, let me just build a bridge and walk into this tunnel of toxic
water. Regular people aren't meant to go
like,
there.
Yeah, I would be like, I'm going to sit back and see what the hell he's trying to do here, and if he's even going to come back. How long would you wait, though, is the question.
You know what's interesting? Like, the idea of making that water toxic intentionally to further remove people discovering that the tunnel is existing. And, like, that's such an extra step of insurance, that because if a random person just walked in there, fucking Selim could take care of him. Like I don't know.
That's why we dismantled the bridge, is so if the bridge was up, then I'm sure there are people that would be like, oh, now I don't have to worry about the toxic water. Let's investigate down here. Some teenagers will probably.
It would be me.
It would be me. Yeah. So we had to think of those lives, those curious lives that would want to travel down here and then be killed by Pride. So we just saved a bunch of people. Good job, Hohenheim.
So, and in terms, like, you were talking about whether, like, what Pride was and his similarities to the first homunculi, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like it isn't a 1-for-1, but when Father cut Pride off first, he did it within the appearance similar to when he was in the flask himself.
Doesn't that make sense? If it's your first iteration of creating a child, if you will, a branch off of yourself, it would be the life that you knew. That it would have similarities to the life you knew.
I'd agree with that, but it also would be like shedding skin. Like, it'd be like I'm beyond that now. I'm a new person, a new individual, so I can leave that past form behind.
It's like not only are you cutting off your emotions and giving them to these vessels, but you're cutting off maybe unsavory aspects of your past and forcing that trauma onto these into these vessels.
Yeah.
And so we're shedding the skin of being kind of trapped within a fixed line, the tunnels to the flask. We're giving that to Pride, and there we go.
I'm a massive fan of Hohenheim using his own name as slave number 23 will be coming for you. Like, that that held so much power to me, only for Father to go back and call him Van Hohenheim.
Because normally it's empowering to claim your name, but his name was
bestowed on
him. It's so fucked up because obviously, like, he wouldn't want to, no one would want to use their kind of slave name, their number 23. Like, you want to be empowered, like, taking your own name and kind of taking some power back as much as you feel like you can in a circumstance. But the name he was given was by something that killed so many people that it's not empowering to really even use that name unless he can kill, Father at the end of the day, and then maybe claim the name as, like, this is my name, and I was able to, Van Hohenheim, the guy you gave the name to, was able to slay you. Then it would be, like, empowering and good. It's so empowering for him to take that step back and use this.
I love that Hohenheim himself is like, I found it on the first try. Like, that was easy. Like,
He's having fun. It seemed like he was having fun.
I will say that it seems like he was having fun, but in a way that I think he knows more than he's letting on in terms of pride and in terms of Father. Like, he came here, to make a declaration of war, but it's also like, I'm seeing it a little bit as like a diversion. Like, it would almost seem like to Father then that this is when Hohenheim appears and might start making moves. But it seems like to us, Hohenheim's been making moves prior to this with dropping his blood elsewhere. So it's like a fake out a little bit, how I'm interpreting it at least.
Well, wouldn't you want to lay some groundwork before you declared war?
Oh yeah, you
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what Hohenheim's up to. At first, my first initial reaction or thought to his entrance within this episode was that, is he going to be dismantling things at each site? Is there a way that he's able to dismantle what has been done in terms of the bloodshed at each site? That was my first initial theory of what was happening here. But what ended up transpiring was comedic in a way, like the declaration of war and how he handled, his interaction with Pride. But yeah, I'm glad for how it worked out, even though it would have been pretty cool, I guess, to see him dismantle it, but that's not how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah. Pivoting, Drachma attacking.
Yes, the
Briggs.
Next war declaration.
There is something so amazing about them being like, oh, the Wall of Briggs isn't here. Like, Olivier isn't here.
Why did they believe Kimberly?
Why wouldn't they?
Okay, but it's like your enemy forces, wouldn't, in the same regard as we were already bringing up the idea of a trap.
Yeah.
Bringing Envy here as a trap, and he's believing Zampano, and he'll be, I guess, coming to find Marco. If you're an enemy force, why would you believe someone who's basically sent by the country that you're fighting? An envoy.
A couple different comments on that. One, he has binoculars. He is has a little bit of caution and is observing the current situation. Number two,
she could be hiding in the wall.
If the person, well, no, she wouldn't be hiding in the wall. It's Olivier. That is not the type of person she'd be. She'd stand proudly on top of that wall.
And I guess he knows her like that.
And I think that it all comes down to it being Kimberly. Like, Kimberly is the person who is the representation, somebody that you might or might not know. The Crimson Alchemist was locked away and has now been given a shiny white suit and a Philosopher's Stone to be able to do whatever, do whatever Bradley wishes or Father wishes. And I think that, it could even be a threat. Like, all right, there's an opening for you here. We have men on the inside. It's the perfect time to attack. You've always been wanting this. And it's like, oh, I don't know if I believe you. You are going to believe me. You better believe me, or I'm going to do something to you myself.
And it's the perfect setup in the same way that we had an uprising happen in Lior, and really what Central's forces was made that worse.
Yeah.
But there's still the deniability there. Oh, well, there was an uprising and all that bloodshed was due to the uprising. Here, the deniability again, well, Drachma's forces were able to get through and kill all the people at Fort Briggs. They're just continuously able to kind of use that cover, and they're finding covers. So I guess for the general population to not be suspicious of their government. And I'm like, well, in due time, you're going to be killed. They want to kill you.
Do you think we're going to lose Briggs? Do you think we're going to lose Miles?
Okay, so Miles, Buccaneer, and Fallman are all in Briggs right now.
It feels like this is the thing that I'm least hopeful about because of how, like, the lack of players we have within Briggs right now. Not only that, because we have a very strong fortress, a great wall, but when you have people coming at you from the outside and also the inside, what can you do?
That's the issue here. I feel like I would have had full, complete faith in the people, the soldiers at Briggs, even though their great wall, Olivier, is not there, because she built this city, basically. She built this group of people, their, like,
she's
connection
instilled greatness,
with each other,
morals, and
right.
yeah.
And the kind of loyalty and teamwork that has been built here, I would have full faith in them, even if the coach isn't on the field, you know what I mean? Isn't there observing them. But because of the possibility of, like, within the walls itself there being the turmoil from Kimberly's men being inside, that's what gets me really worried. I don't foresee Miles, Buccaneer, or Fallman dying. I guess Fallman maybe.
I'm scared of all of them dying, to be honest. I don't have.
Is that a good, like, okay, think about it, like, in terms of writing. Killing Miles after he let Scar's life, like after he let Scar kind of leave and not take him into Briggs and let him go off with Winry and everyone else. Miles' stand of trying to kill Kimberly and, you know, Ed walking in and Kimberly already realizing that there was an assassination attempt, basically. Is that a good writing in terms of a Miles send-off? I sure hope not a Miles send-off, because I really like him as a character.
What's Olivier gonna do upon hearing that Briggs is being attacked? Because, like, I'd imagine she'd have faith and trust, but it's also her home. Like, she would want to be there immediately, you know?
It would definitely, she's not going to leave, I would say, if she did hear about this. If anything, it would just further
I don't think she could.
She couldn't, one. But I think it would just further her resolve to stick it out in the position that she's in, and the kind of way that she was able to wiggle into
Bradley.
A seat, basically, at the table. And she's going to stay at that table until she can, with her own hands, maybe even kill Bradley, kill Father. And the third, obviously, we've already talked about that declaration of war, of whether Zampano is an actual traitor or what. But it seems like Envy might be taking... I would assume we're in Azbek. I would assume that's where we are, because that's where we were traveling to. And so I guess there might be a fight there as well.
Yeah, it's just so odd that war's starting, Al's in pieces, and we didn't even see Ed this episode. It's wild.
We didn't even see Ed this episode.
I know.
You know what else? Before we leave the topic of war, because I feel like this episode was pretty focused on war.
Yeah.
When we get Fallman on the phone, I realized that all of Roy's men were sent to various very scattered locations, but they were all sent basically to war zones. It was basically like death sentences for all of them. They were literally in the same, like, you would have thought Riza's predicament was maybe the most unsafe because she's literally right next to Bradley, but I think all of them are put into incredibly treacherous positions, especially now that we see the actual kind of footage from the wars.
If you have an opposition like Roy, and you're assuming that his men believe in him and are operating under his orders and his beliefs, then sending them all separating them all is a very smart thing to do on multiple levels. One, you're removing them from being immediate danger to you and your plans, but where you're sending them to, if they are lucky enough to survive, they will come back and come home never wanting to be a part of any type of dangerous political, like, instances again, because of the fear in their lives. But it could operate on the other hand of things too, like, I don't want... This is corrupt. I'm going to fight back.
It seems like wherever they are, they're still holding strong and they're still fighting. But...
Yep. Well...
So I guess maybe we see what Ed's up to.
Yeah.
Since you put it out there and reminded me that we didn't see what Ed's up to in this episode, I guess what we might see next is maybe Ed, like, waking up. Like, maybe we'd get, like, a waking up and a doctor tending to us.
Maybe. My last thing that I had was kind of at the end of when Hohenheim Sorry. My last thing that I had was kind of at the end when Hohenheim and Father were like, talking about each other. And then we see Father's perspective of those 4 chess pieces,
Okay, like,
right? With one of them
these?
knocked over. And we had this talked about before, and like how Azumi was like a half measure and stuff. And just bringing that up again within the context of this episode is really fascinating to me. I wonder what it means for Father's perspective. Like, is he waiting for Hohenheim to get to his chair as that final piece? Like, because it's listed, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, is that why we're getting this shot? Is we are waiting for Hohenheim because not only is it good for us that it's good for us that for Father, I guess, not us, that Hohenheim wants to come here, invited or not, because maybe we can then utilize him. But who made these pieces that we're using?
Probably
who crafted
Father.
these? You think that he like either whittled them or used some clay
Or
and, like,
it's
sculpted
like
them?
the 2 things that Sloth likes to do is sleep and create chess pieces and small crafts, and this is what he did.
I like that you picked him as the one that would have made it. 'Cause
Yeah.
that feels so right.
Well, I'm hoping that he was able to take a break now. He's just doing his job.
Yep. Okay. I have one last question for you.
Okay.
It has kind of nothing to do with this episode.
All right.
I was thinking about it coming off of I think in the intro for this episode, I had brought up the fact that we snuck that we didn't sneak. We put the Philosopher's Stone that had dropped down in the mine.
One of the chimeras have
into our pocket. One of the chimeras has it. So obviously, we know for sure that Ed and Al do not want to use a Philosopher's Stone to get their bodies back for their kind of selfish reason, something that is for them and personal. But in general, this is like a general question, not necessarily like these specific characters and how they morally might feel. What is the morality of using the Philosopher's Stone if it's to power yourself up to defeat Father? If he, like, isn't that possibly, like, that's not the same argument
philosophically
as using it
or
for
like
yourself,
within
for your
Ed's
bodies.
character, like
I'm
morally.
in general, and then we could talk about how his character might feel about it. But in general, I would view that as the only okay thing you can do with the Philosopher's Stone
is using it to save lives,
to defeat Father, the person who killed all of the people that created the Philosopher's Stone, basically, as like a revenge, or not only revenge, but then saving a mass amount of people, an entire country.
I see you there. I see that. But there's also like there's areas that don't exist with it, right? Like utilizing it in a way, if you utilize it in a way that Father would or Kimberly would in order to stop Father, you are doing exactly what they did just to them. And granted, it is for the greater good in that aspect. If you'd be able to use the Philosopher's Stone or not use it at all, great. Use it in a way that isn't exactly how they would use it to defeat Father. That would be the best case scenario, right? Are we going to be able to use it within like the new Amastrician circle in some way? Are we able to utilize it to give life back to people? I'm not sure, but
Right.
I think it's an interesting question to ask and pose, because like specifically with Ed, we know where he lies with it, but I don't know how it will be reincorporated into the story,
Right. I mean, we have it's going to come into play somehow, I would imagine. I mean, not that it would have been
It's
left
on the shelf
in the mines, but I just had to ask that question because I felt like I was so focused on, Ed wouldn't use it for his goals, but I didn't think about like that kind of moral spectrum of, okay, but what goals maybe would someone be willing to use it for if they viewed those as not selfish and personal and maybe for the greater good?
Yeah.
Is that if you were used to create the Philosopher's Stone, would you rather just be sitting there in the stone, your soul basically, or would you want to save other people if you had the choice? Not that you like have it, obviously.
I feel like if I was in the stone, I'd want the stone to be broken. So
it's almost like a set free kind of
thing. But not used to be broken,
Is it greater to have your main characters be able to inevitably defeat Father without ever even coming in contact with the Philosopher's Stone.
The idea of like dropping the blood in the land, right? And like being able to use my soul on the side of good as opposed to the side of bad, using souls against their will to further destruction. That's a good way to go down too. All right.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.